In the old city of Mereth, every child was measured before they were named. The strong were sent to the stone yards, where they learned to lift temple blocks before their bones were fully grown. The swift were given copper knives and taught to cross rooftops without waking the birds. The clever were locked in candlelit halls, where ink, numbers, and forbidden diagrams became their first language. But one child failed every measure. His name was Cael Orenth. He could not outlift the mason's sons. He could not outrun the knife dancers. He could not solve the silver riddles of the scholars before the hourglass emptied. When the judges placed their hands upon his shoulders, they found no single excellence burning inside him.
Too divided,
they said, and so he was given no path. Yet Cael did not feel empty. He felt crowded. When he watched the strong, something in him understood the patience of muscle. When he watched the swift, his blood remembered the angle of motion. When he watched the wise, his thoughts reached for the invisible shape behind their words. He was not gifted in one direction. He was pulled by all three. In Mereth, that was considered weakness. The city had no use for a soul that refused to become one thing. Cael left the city at 17, with no title, no weapon, and no blessing. He walked north until the road became broken slate, then east until the forests thinned into silver grass, then south until the desert opened like a wound beneath the sun. In each place, he found a master who had failed the world in a different way. The first was Marin the Stone-Blooded, a warrior whose arms were corded like siege rope. He had once broken a gate with his shoulder and regretted it forever, because beyond that gate had been children, not soldiers. From him, Cael learned strength, not rage, not brutality, but the discipline to bear weight without becoming weight. The second was Illith of the Nine Steps, a thief priestess who could walk through a hall of bells and leave none singing. She had stolen from tyrants, temples, and graves, until one day she stole a sealed letter and learned it contained a pardon that arrived too late. From her, Cael learned grace, not escape, not deception, but the mercy of moving before violence could begin. The third was Veril, a scholar exiled for proving that thought was not housed only in the skull. He believed memory lived in posture, instinct lived in breath, and wisdom was useless unless it could survive panic. From him, Cael learned intellect, not coldness, not arrogance, but the ability to understand what fear tried to hide. Years passed. Cael became strong enough to carry a wounded horse, quick enough to snatch a falling blade by the handle, sharp enough to read old star scripts by its missing lines. Still, he mastered nothing. Each teacher saw the same flaw. He was balanced. And balance, they warned him, was beautiful only until the world struck unevenly. The proof came during the siege of Tharuun. Cael had gone there not as a soldier, but as a messenger. 3 kingdoms had surrounded the mountain city, each claiming the others had broken the treaty first. By the time Cael arrived, the sky was black with smoke, and the walls were breathing dust. He carried a peace scroll under his cloak. No one lived long enough to read it. The first stone from the enemy engine struck the western tower. The second split the bridge. The third landed in the market square, where Cael stood among bakers, children, mule drivers, and old women carrying water. The world became impact. Bodies fell. Wood shattered. Metal screamed. Cael felt a shard of iron punch into his ribs, but not deep enough to kill him. It should have torn him open. Instead, something within him answered in 3 voices at once. His strength held the body upright. His speed turned the wound away from the heart. His mind found the path through collapsing stone. He carried 4 survivors from the square before the next volley fell. Then another shard struck him, then another. Each wound was small by the measure of war, but war does not need one perfect blow when it can deliver 100 lesser ones. By dawn, Cael was on his knees beneath the broken gate, surrounded by those he had saved and unable to stand. The peace scroll lay beside him, unread and soaked through. That was when the old star fell, not from the sky, from beneath the city. Tharuun had been built over an observatory older than its kings. Its dome lay buried under the mountain, untouched by sunlight, filled with instruments aimed not upward but inward. Mirrors faced mirrors, silver rings turned around no visible axis. At the center hung a black stone amulet without chain or clasp, suspended in a field of pale fire. Cael was carried there by the survivors, who believed the ancient place might contain medicine. It contained judgment. The amulet woke when his blood touched the floor. A voice entered the chamber without sound. It asked him what he wanted. Strength, said the warrior inside him. Speed, said the survivor. Understanding, said the broken messenger. The amulet rejected each answer. The chamber darkened. The mirrors filled with images. Marin breaking the gate, Illith stealing the pardon, Ver proving truths no one wished to hear. Each had possessed greatness. Each had been ruined by becoming only one kind of person. Then the voice asked again. Cael understood.
Not more of one.
He whispered.
Enough of all.
The pale fire bent around him. The black stone cracked open, revealing a core like a captured horizon, half dawn, half dusk, neither gold nor shadow. Threads of light pierced his body, not healing him, not blessing him, but measuring him. Bone, nerve, breath, thought, reflex, endurance, doubt. Every part of him was weighed. Every part was found incomplete. So the amulet divided its own star and filled the gaps, not with perfection, with proportion. When Cael rose, the amulet hung around his neck on a chain that had not existed before. It was made of 3 metals braided so tightly they seemed like one. Iron dark as old blood, silver quick as running water, and pale gold warm as candle flame. The pendant itself was a small black star, set inside an open ring, and when it moved, it did not catch light. It corrected it. The survivors saw Cael step from the buried observatory and thought he had become a hero. He had not. He had become possible. The stones that once would have crushed him now seemed slightly less final. Blades that should have bitten deep glanced a finger's width away from death. His hands found strength before despair could claim them. His feet found motion before fear could root them. His mind found answers in the narrow space between impact and silence. He was not invincible. The chain did not erase pain. It subtracted just enough from each blow for survival to remain a choice. At the broken gate, Cael found the 3 commanders still arguing over surrender, tribute, and blame. He walked between their guards without drawing a weapon. When they ordered him seized, he did not slaughter them. He broke spear hafts, stepped through sword arcs, and placed each commander on the ground with one hand at the throat and one knee on the chest. Then he gave them the ruined peace scroll.
Read what your pride buried,
he said. No one spoke until morning. By then, the siege was over. The chain passed into legend after Cael disappeared. Some claimed he became king of Tharuun, though no throne ever bore his name. Some said he returned to Mereth and shattered the measuring halls, freeing children from the tyranny of single gifts. Others believed he walked into the desert and taught wanderers how to survive without becoming cruel. But every legend agreed on the same warning. The Equinox Chain did not make its wearer the strongest. It made weakness harder to excuse. Warriors who wore it found their thoughts sharpening and could no longer hide behind force. Scholars who wore it felt their bodies demanding courage and could no longer hide behind theory. Thieves who wore it felt conscience hardening in their hands and could no longer hide behind speed. The chain gave generously, but never blindly. It widened the soul. and a widened soul had fewer places to conceal cowardice. Many sought the relic hoping to become complete. Most returned it within a year, terrified by what it revealed. They had wanted power to cover their missing pieces. The chain made them feel every absence. Only those willing to become more than their talent could bear it for long. Centuries later, when Mereth was nothing but pillars and sand, a nameless girl found the chain beneath the roots of a dead fig tree. She was a failed apprentice, a poor duelist, a slow reader, and the unwanted daughter of a house that valued clean bloodlines more than living hearts. She held the amulet and felt no thunder, no divine command, no promise of greatness. Only a question. Not what are you best at, not what were you born to become, but what are you willing to carry together? The girl closed her hand around the black star. Far away beneath mountains, the buried mirrors turned for the first time in centuries. The chain warmed against her palm, and somewhere inside her, in muscle, nerve, thought, breath, fear, hunger, grief, and hope, 3 small lights answered as one.